You know, when we go through something tough, when life hits us in the chest, unexpected, raw, sometimes even unfair, our first instinct is often to ask, why is this happening to me? We start treating the moment like it's some sort of exam, like we're being graded on how well we can hold it together, how quickly we can fix it, or how flawlessly we can bounce back. But what if I told you, it's not a test, it never was, it's a mirror? Think about that. A test has a right or wrong answer, a pass or fail. It exists to measure, to judge, to rank you. But a mirror doesn't do that. A mirror just shows you what's already there. It doesn't create flaws, it doesn't invent beauty, it doesn't assign value. It simply reflects. And that's exactly what life's challenges do. They reflect back to us who we really are when the mask comes off. Not who we pretend to be when things are easy, not who we hope others see, but who we actually are when comfort is gone, when we're stretched, when the pressure is on and we have to choose. Do we react or do we respond? Do we fall back into old programs or do we step forward into who we're becoming? You see, the people who grow really growed don't see life's hard moments as punishments or signs they're failing. They understand that these moments are mirrors, they look into them. They ask what is this showing me about myself? Maybe it's showing me how easily I give up when things don't go as planned. Maybe it's showing me how I still carry a wound from childhood I thought I had healed. Maybe it's showing me how attached I've become to control, to needing things a certain way just to feel safe. And here's the secret. When you realize it's a mirror, not a test, you stop needing to be perfect. You stop trying to ace the situation. Instead, you get curious, you start learning. You stop being ashamed of the fear, the anger, the resistance. Because now it's not a failing grade. It's a reflection of something deeper. Something that's ready to be seen, understood, and released. We've all been taught to fear the mirror. Society tells us to hide what we don't like, to filter it, to avoid it. But that's like smashing the mirror because we don't like the reflection. The truth is, the mirror is the greatest tool we've got. Because when life shows you your patterns, your triggers, your blind spots, it's not trying to break you. It's trying to wake you. And when you wake up to yourself, really wake up, something incredible happens. You start seeing the same old situations with new eyes. That same traffic jam that used to make you explode becomes a space to breathe. That same argument you always have with your partner becomes a chance to soften instead of defend. That same fear of failure becomes fuel to go deeper, not an excuse to stop. Now, don't get me wrong. This isn't about ignoring pain or pretending everything's okay. It's about understanding that the pain itself is a portal. And the moment you stop asking why is this happening to me, and start asking what is this revealing in me, that's the moment the shift begins. That's the moment you move from victim to creator. From reacting to choosing. Every moment that challenges you is offering you a reflection of your beliefs, your identity, your attachments, your resistance, and if you're brave enough to look, really look, you can use that reflection to evolve. Not in theory, not in some future fantasy, but right now, in real time. And this is where transformation starts, not with having all the answers, but with being willing to look in the mirror long enough to ask better questions. Not to judge what you see, but to understand it, to see the version of you that's operating on autopilot and decide. Maybe it's time for an upgrade, because when you realize the situation isn't testing you, it's mirroring you. You also realize you're not being evaluated. You're being invited to see something, to heal something, to shift something, and that shift, that's how your future is shaped, not by what happens to you, but by how you respond to what you see in the mirror. And that's the invitation right now, not to pass anything, but to perceive differently. Because everything you experience is feedback, it's information, it's energy trying to get your attention. And when you meet that energy with awareness instead of resistance, when you stop treating life like a test you can fail and start treating it like a mirror you can learn from, that's where your power returns. That's when change becomes inevitable. We've been conditioned to measure ourselves constantly. We measure our success by how much money we have, how many people approve of us, how fast we get results, how perfectly we perform. It's this deep-rooted habit of scorekeeping, always evaluating, always comparing, always trying to prove we're enough. But here's the truth most people never hear. The real work isn't in trying to get a perfect score. The real work is in developing awareness, not success, not perfection, not image, awareness. Because awareness is the beginning of freedom. It's the doorway to transformation. When you become aware of what's driving you, when you realize why you feel anxious in a room full of people, why you get defensive in a conversation, why you keep chasing more and never feel satisfied, that's when you can begin to shift. But none of that can happen when you're stuck in performance mode, when you're stuck trying to be the best version of yourself according to some external standard. See, life isn't asking you to be impressive. Life is asking you to be present. It's not about living up to an image, it's about living in alignment with your truth. And alignment comes from self-awareness, from noticing what's happening inside you, not just reacting to what's happening around you. The challenge is, most people are so busy trying to pass the so-called test, get it right, prove themselves, win approval, that they never pause to ask the deeper questions. Why do I think I need this validation? Why do I fear slowing down? Why do I tie my value to productivity? These are the questions that dissolve the illusion. These are the questions that wake you up from the program, and we all have programs. Patterns we run without thinking. Emotional habits, mental stories, survival strategies that formed years ago. And we call that just how I am. But it's not who you are, it's just who you've been rehearsing. When you look in the mirror of your life, when you look at the feedback from your relationships, your reactions, your triggers, it doesn't give you a grade, it gives you a clue to where you're operating unconsciously, a clue to where the program is stronger than your presence. And that's where awareness becomes your superpower. Because the moment you become aware of the program, you are no longer the program. You become the observer. You step out of the loop, you interrupt the pattern. That's not a small shift, that's a quantum shift. You've moved from being run by the past to choosing the future. Now, this isn't about blaming yourself. It's not about saying, oh no, I've been doing it all wrong. No, that's just more scorekeeping. That's just another version of judgment. This is about curiosity, compassion, courage, the courage to ask, what am I learning about myself right now? What's this moment reflecting? When you stop looking for the score and start listening for the signal, everything changes. You realize that the irritation you feel when someone doesn't acknowledge your effort isn't about them. It's about a part of you that still needs external validation to feel secure. You realize that the panic you feel when plans fall apart isn't about the event, it's about your relationship to control. And once you see it, you can shift it, not by force, but by awareness. That's the key. Self-awareness doesn't shame you, it liberates you. It shows you that you're not broken, you're just patterned. And patterns can be rewired. Patterns can be released. But only when you stop judging the reflection and start learning from it. And this is something I want you to feel in your bones. You are not your mistakes. You are not your past reactions. You are not the roles you've been taught to play. You are the one who sees it all. The one who can shift from unconscious to conscious, from autopilot to creator, from scorekeeper to truth seeker. So the next time you feel triggered, the next time you catch yourself falling into old habits, don't ask, what's wrong with me? Ask, what's trying to come into awareness right now? That question will lead you back to your power every single time, because it's not about winning the moment. It's about witnessing it. That's where you break the cycle. That's where you reclaim your energy. That's where you stop needing to perform and start learning to transform. And when you live from that space, not constantly measuring yourself, but constantly meeting yourself, you don't just change your life. You change your future. There's a moment, maybe you've felt it, when everything inside you just stops. You're no longer chasing, you're no longer hiding, you're no longer defending. You're just aware. Fully aware, and in that stillness there's a realization. Growth doesn't begin when you succeed. Growth begins when you're willing to face what's real, and not just the parts of you you're proud of, the ambition, the drive, the discipline, but also the shadows. The insecurities, the old pain, the patterns that have been running in the background of your life for so long, you forgot they were even there. See, we've been trained to fix ourselves, to improve, to upgrade. And while there's nothing wrong with wanting to evolve, real transformation doesn't start with a strategy. It starts with honest reflection. You have to be willing to look at yourself as you are, not who you wish you were, not the version you think others want to see, but the raw, unfiltered you. Most people avoid this step. They'd rather stay busy, stay distracted, keep moving, keep achieving, keep collecting external results to distract from the internal truth. But here's the thing, what you refuse to look at doesn't disappear. It controls you. It shapes your choices, your emotions, your energy, whether you're aware of it or not. So the longer you run from the mirror, the longer you delay the real work. But when you finally stop, when you sit with the feelings, the fears, the beliefs, you stop being a prisoner to them. And instead, they become your teachers. Every frustration becomes a doorway. Every emotional trigger becomes a signpost. Every pattern becomes an invitation. Life isn't punishing you, it's pointing you. It's saying, look here, this is the part of you that's ready to evolve. And that's the beauty of reflection. A mirror doesn't yell, it doesn't shame, it just shows, and if you're present with what it's showing you, really present, something shifts. You realize that the pain you've been avoiding is the part of you that wants to be understood. That fear you've been suppressing, it's the part that never felt safe enough to be expressed. And once it's seen, once it's held with compassion, it begins to dissolve. But you've got to meet it first. You've got to look into the mirror without turning away, not from a place of judgment, but from a place of truth. Because there's a version of you that's been waiting on the other side of that truth. Not a better version, a truer one. A version of you that's not performing, not pretending, not surviving, but simply being. And when you touch that version of yourself, even for a moment, something deep inside remembers, this is who I really am, I'm not the fear, I'm not the anger, I'm not the stories I've been telling myself about my worth. I am the awareness beneath it all. And from that place of awareness, you can choose again. You can respond differently. You can rewrite the program not because you're forcing change, but because you've seen the root. And that's where healing happens, not by pushing the pain away, not by pretending everything is fine, but by turning toward the very thing you thought you had to escape. That's the paradox. The moment you stop running from the discomfort, it loses its grip on you. The moment you look it in the eyes, it stops defining you. This is the inner work, the unseen work, and yes, it takes courage. It takes commitment, because you're no longer just managing symptoms. You're going to the source. You're meeting yourself where the wound was created, where the pattern began, and you're bringing light to a place that's been in the dark for a long time. And the more you do that, the less reactive you become. You stop needing to control everything around you because you've made peace with what's within you. You stop being thrown by circumstances because your sense of self isn't built on anything outside of you. It's rooted in awareness, in presence, in truth. So the question becomes not how do I fix this? But what is this showing me? That one question will change your life, because you'll stop fighting the mirror and start learning from it. And the more you learn, the more you evolve. Not through force, but through integration. That's what growth really is. It's the process of becoming whole again. You're not broken, you're just learning to see clearly. And when you see clearly, you remember that you always had the power. You just needed to meet yourself fully, without filters, without edits, without conditions, just as you are. That's where transformation begins. There's this idea that if we just push hard enough, do enough, perform well enough, eventually we'll pass life. Like it's some kind of exam, something outside of us that we either succeed at or fail at. So we chase after the perfect outcome, obsess over getting it right, fear every misstep. But what if life isn't asking you to pass anything? What if it's simply asking you to see something? What if the point isn't perfection, but transformation? Because transformation doesn't happen when you're winning. It happens when you're willing to sit in the discomfort long enough to let go of who you think you're supposed to be. That's not the energy of a test. That's the energy of a mirror. And when you stop trying to prove something and start being present with what's actually showing up in your life, emotionally, physically, energetically, you begin to wake up to the truth. Every moment is revealing who you are, what you've outgrown, and where you're being invited to evolve. The old model says you need to be more, do more, fix yourself, earn worthiness. The new model, conscious transformation, says you're already whole. The patterns you're facing aren't proof that you're broken. They're proof that something inside of you is surfacing, ready to shift, ready to be released, ready to be rewritten. But that shift doesn't come from passing a test. It comes from asterisk facing the mirror. Asterisk, and that mirror shows up everywhere. In the conversations that trigger you, in the relationship that challenges your ability to be open, in the job that drains you because it no longer matches who you are becoming. These aren't obstacles in your way. They are asterisk the way. They are the reflection, and once you understand that, everything changes. You stop trying to get through it. You stop resisting. You stop pretending you're fine when something deep inside is clearly calling for your attention. Because you realize it's not life being hard on you. It's life inviting you into a higher version of yourself. And that invitation doesn't sound like a command. It sounds like a whisper, asterisk. Are you ready to let go of the old story, asterisk asterisk? Are you ready to stop pretending, asterisk asterisk? Are you ready to align with who you really are? Asterisk, this is where the mirror becomes powerful. Because when you look into it honestly, you start seeing which parts of you are still living from fear, from scarcity, from old trauma. You see where you're performing instead of being, where you're reacting instead of creating. And when you see it, not with judgment but with presence, you reclaim your energy from those unconscious places. See, most people spend their lives trying to manage the external world, fixing things, controlling things, chasing things. But the real transformation happens when you realize the outer world is just a reflection of the inner one. You shift asterisk that asterisk your energy, your awareness, your patterns, and the world around you begins to rearrange in response. That's not a fantasy, that's not wishful thinking, that's biology, that's neuroplasticity, that's energy aligning with intention, and it starts the moment you stop trying to pass life's tests and start using every situation, every challenge, every emotion as feedback, as data, as a mirror. And what's beautiful about this shift is that you don't have to wait to be perfect to do it. You don't have to heal everything before you begin. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be willing to asterisk see asterisk, to meet yourself where you are, to respond to what life is showing you instead of resisting it. That's when the mirror becomes your guide. That's when the tough moments become sacred. That's when you stop feeling like a victim of circumstance and start recognizing yourself as a creator. Not in some future timeline. Right now, in this moment, with this breath. You may not control what happens around you, but you always get to choose how you relate to it. And when you choose presence over performance, when you choose reflection over reaction, when you choose truth over comfort, you become unstoppable. Not because you've passed some invisible test, but because you've integrated what the mirror showed you. That's the path of real change. You can't fake it. You can't bypass it. You meet it. You feel it. You reflect, and then you respond from a new place, not from survival, not from habit, but from awareness. And that awareness creates a ripple. It shifts the frequency of your thoughts, your choices, your entire field. That's how you step into a new reality. That's how transformation becomes not just possible, but inevitable. You don't need to pass anything to be worthy of change. You just need to be willing to asterisk see asterisk what's ready to transform.